Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Today we will be discussing Sindhi people, that how did this identity come into being and it grew out in only a certain geographic location. Every identity has its own elements and its own specification. The other identities we've explored up till now were not based on geographic location, but the Sindhi identity is based upon the geographic location. So we will be looking into more of the geographic history of the area of Sindh rather than individually dissecting people's history and their lineage. Start off with the stereotypes of Sindhis. हम क्या एक stereotypes हैं सिंधी के. We've seen mostly कि हम इनको associate करते हैं भुट्टो से. आज भी भुट्टो जिंदा है, वो नारे से बहुत relate करते हैं. और इनका एक गाना है बजा तीर बजा, उसको हम शादियों में और events में और dances में और वगैरह में उनको बहुत incorporate करते हैं. Other than that, we don't know much about Sindhis, the general public, and you hear about the stereotypes here and there, and you have some certain families who categorize certain ethnicities with certain anomalies or bad things. Then you might know this, that they love polygamy, they are not educated, and वो बहुत हडराम हैं और वो सिर्फ PPP को वोट देते हैं. Whatever these stereotypes are, you shouldn't really rely on them and create your own new understanding through this video and understand them as people from a certain land rather than associate them with certain characteristics. Sindhi are an Indo-Aryan ethno-linguistic group who speak the language Sindhi and are a native to the land of Sindh in Pakistan. After the partition, we saw the demographics change dramatically as most of the people that were Hindu and Sindhi fled the area to save their lives, but still today we find many Hindus residing in Sindh. The word Sindh comes out of the word Sindhu, which means water. As regards the composition of the population of Sindh province, the two main stocks that inhabit Sindh are related to and are common, one with Punjab and another with Balochistan. The majority stock is that of Rajputs and Jats, who are descendants of Sakas and Kushans and Huns, who also constitute the majority of the population of the Punjab. During Kalhora rule, a number of Jat tribes such as Sails, Joyas, Kawars came from the Punjab and settled in northern Sindh. They are called Serai, men from the north who speak Seraiki language. The smaller stock is that of Balochi tribes settled in various parts of Sindh, mostly during the last 500 years or so. Since they were marital people and ruled over Sindh for some time before the arrival of the British, they acquired vast lands in the province, with the result that a large number of present Sindhi landlords are Baloch origin. According to the 1941 census, which was last one held before the partition, Balochis formed about 23% of the total Muslim population of Sindh. Among the Balochi tribes inhabiting Sindh are the Rind, Dumki, Jhankar, Laghari, Lashari, Chandio, Karmati, Karoi, Jatoi, Burdi, Khosa, Chamali, Umrani, Bukti, Mari, Mazari, Talpur, Bhurai, Nizami, Buladi, Karani, Bordor, Nakhmi, Magsi. These tribes are spread over Balochistan, Sindh and the southern western district of Punjab. Yet, a third stock of Sindhi population comprises of the descendants Muslim conquerors, administrators, missionaries who were mostly Arabs, Persians, Turks and Mughals. They are small in minority, settled in cities and towns, but so deeply absorbed and blended with other components of the population that all three together have evolved distinctive language and culture. Of this third element, Arabs have contributed most to the development of Sindhi language, literature and to the advancement of its intellectual and cultural activities. Dawn of history reveals an Aryan dynasty in power in Sindh. The Aryan general Skylax explored the Indus in a flotilla equipped near Peshawar, conquered the Indus Valley and annexed its empire of Darius the Great. The next historical context is found in Alexander's invasion in 326 BC. Alexander, as found in every history book and every history chapter, was found in Sindh as well. Alexandrian period was followed by that of Maurya's, whose fall brought in Greco-Bactrians. The 1st century AD witnessed the arrival of the Kushans, who along with Scythians and later Parthians ruled over Afghanistan and Pakistan for about 4 centuries from Peshawar. The end of 12th century in northern India when Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj. The Muslims were interested in the land of Sindh and several attempts were made to rule the land from Hazrat Umar Anhu's time to Hazrat Usman's time. Though the Makran coast was conquered and lost immediately in the time of Hazrat Umar, but during his last days, Muslims regained the control over the Makran coast. The next Arab general who entered today's Pakistan was Sahar al-Abadi. But leave this all aside. The real story started when Hajjaj bin Yusuf tried to enter Pakistan. The story of Arab merchants returning from Ceylon to Basara having been looted by Sindhi pirates is a well-known story. It is related that some of the women who were being carried away by the pirates implored Hajjaj to rescue them. Hajjaj took serious notice of this and sent an army away. To cut it short, the army lost and we got the Clifton's famous Mazar, Abdullah Shah Ghazi Mazar. Hajjaj didn't rest and sent away another army, which eventually again was defeated. Third time is the lucky time. Hajjaj knew that his repo was on the line, so he did all he can to win the war and left no stone unturned. Then came in Muhammad bin Qasim to the rescue, though Muhammad bin Qasim was only 20 years old at that time. In all this time before Muhammad Qasim, there was Buddhist and Hindu Brahmins on this land. A few exchanges of powers had brought in Hindu Brahmins above the others and were very hostile to the Buddhists. That's why Muhammad bin Qasim's invasion was not viewed as bad because of the hostile activity already taking place against the Buddhist people. Sindh had an affiliation with Islam from the very beginning, as the mention of Jats are found in many historical contexts. According to a hadith, Hazrat Abdullah bin Masud, a companion of the Prophet, saw some strangers with the Prophet and said that their features and physique were like those of Jats. This means that Jats were present in Arabia even during the Prophet's time. From the departure of Muhammad bin Qasim in 1715 to the fall of Umayyad Caliphate in 750, a period of 35 years, Sindh had 9 governors. They were Habib bin Mohib, Amro bin Muslim Bahali, Bilal bin Awaz, Junaid bin Abdur Rahman, Tamim bin Zaidi, and so on. During this period, Governor Junaid again conquered all the territory up to Bees and Ravis in the northeast, Kashmir in the north, Arabian Ocean in the south, and Malwa in the southeast, and Makran in the west. When Umayyad Caliphate was replaced by the Abbasids in 750 AD, Sindh had become a part of Abbasid dominions. It remained under Baghdad's control during the Abbasid Caliphate. Safa, Mansur, Hadi, Harun, Mamun, Mustaqim, Wasik, and Muntawakkil. During the 105 years of Abbasid Caliphate, when the Sindh formed a part of the dominions, 31 governors were appointed. The Hibari dynasty, which had become independent, lasted for 855 AD to 855 AD to 1010 AD. Till the annexation of Sindh by Muhammad Ghaznavi. With the conquest of Pakistan by Mahmud Ghaznavi, Arab rule came to an end in Sindh, and also the first chapter of its Muslim period, the bright period of Sindh's history, revived after the arrival of the Ghurids, with Nasiruddin Kabucha was appointed governor of Multan and Sindh. The period of governorship as well as the independent rule of Kabucha was one of the greatest development for Sindh. Next begins the period under the slave dynasty of Delhi, when the capital of Sindh was shifted from Uch to Bakar. Prince Muhammad made Multan the capital of Sindh and Punjab, and also the focal point from which defense operations were conducted against Mongol inroads. It was during the Prince Muhammad's governorship that Most of the great Sufis now buried in Pakistan migrated to these areas and settled down at different places. Among them are Hazrat Sheikh Bahuddin Zakaria, Hazrat Fariduddin Masood Ganj Shakar, Hazrat Sheikh Usman Marwandi, Lal Shahbaz Kalandar, Hazrat Amir Hassan Sanchari. The great Sufi poet Hazrat Amir Khusro had also settled down in Multan but returned to India after Prince Muhammad's death. It is believed that during the rule of Delhi Sultanate, sometime in 13th century, Multan and Uch hold of Delhi became more firm, particularly during the reign of Alauddin Khilji. The commencement of the Tughlaq period in 1321 AD to its annexation by Akbar the Great in about 1591 AD. For a period of 270 years, Sindh enjoyed de facto independence. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, in pursuit of some rebels, died near Thatta before conquering the town. His successor Firoz Tughlaq also could not succeed in wresting the town from the Sumras and went back frustrated. They connect their origin with Sumerians of the Middle East and Sumri of Beth and Israel. Even if it is true, the tribe must have settled in Sindh long before the Arab had arrived. They had first accepted the Ismaili creed and adopted Sunni faith at much later date. The next tribe to emerge into power in Sindh were the Samas and Samros, who ruled from the middle of the 14th century AD to early 16th century. For a little over 170 years, they replaced Sumras during the reign of Firoz Tughlaq. According to the author of Chach Nama, the Sumras are old inhabitants of Sindh, and when Muhammad bin Qasim entered their region after Taimur's invasion of India in 1398 and the consequent weakening of Delhi government, they became powerful. With the arrival of Babur on the Indian scene, the whole complexion of the subcontinent changed. Sindh was the first to be affected when Babur commenced his operations from Kabul southward, capturing Kalandar in 1521. The ruler of that city, Shah Beg Argun, escaped and came over Sindh to try his fortunes here. He succeeded in capturing the province from now the declining dynasty of Samras, but the Argun rule lasted hardly 33 years with only two rulers. The Arguns were succeeded by families of their nobles called Turkans, who were also of the same origins. Turkans ruled for 37 years from 1554 to 1591. When Akbar conquered Sindh, Turkans were not displaced but appointed as the newly annexed province governors of the Mughal Empire, which lasted for about 148 years. Years from 1591 to 1739 AD, when Sindh was annexed by Persian ruler under Nadir Shah. As a result, Nadir Shah's attack on India in 1739 AD and subsequently of Ahmad Shah Abdali in the 50s of the same century, central rule weakened. Though Sindh was annexed to Nadir Shah's empire, his rule was short-lived and his control over his province was feeble. Again, local forces asserted themselves and a branch of Dauputs known as Kulharas rose to power in parts of Sindh. The most powerful ruler was Nur Muhammad Kalhora. Another ruler of this, Ghulam Shah Kalhora, founded the city of Hyderabad in 1768 AD on the left bank of Indus, where there had been an ancient town of the name of Nirun. The date usually accepted by historians as the end of Kalhora regime is 1783, when the Afghan king Taimur Shah settled the indecisive Talpur-Kolhara tussle by sending Mir Fateh Ali Khan Talpur a robe honor, some Arab horses and a sanad appointing him ruler of Sindh. As such, the ruler of Talpurs may be reckoned from 1783 AD The government of Talpur Mirs, which began in auspicious circumstances and ended 60 years later after the Battle of Meani and Duabi in 1843, when the victories of Napier led to the annexation of Sindh by the British. From the middle of 18th century AD till the inception of Pakistan in the middle of the 20th century AD, for a period of 200 years, which covers Kalhora, Talpur and British rules, Sindh had the most painful period of its history. Internally, the struggle between the Kalhoras and Talpurs for power consumed the energies of the people and created havoc in their life and property. With the final victory of Talpur, Sindh was divided into small principalities and exposed to attacks from outside. The refusal by the Talpurs to pay tribute to Durrani kings caused frequent incursions of Afghan troops, some of which were devastating to Sindh's economy. In this country, which would seldom have the like in India in vastness, size and population, not a single human dwelling was left. 41 productive forces diminished to an alarming extent, undermining the entire economic life of the province. Most of the flourishing cities were ruined. The population of Thatta, which was 300,000, at one time declined to 20,000 in 1809 and 7,000 in 1851. Sakkar was almost isolated, and Shikarpur, which was the northern Sindh's largest trade center, was nearly deserted. Karachi's income went down from rupees 6 lakh in 1793 to rupees 1 lakh in 1808. Agricultural met a similar fate because of the incessant furrows and anarchy and exploitation by zamindars. The cultivated area was almost halved in a half century, and both revenue and profits from agricultural lands were seriously reduced. Added to this was the crushing burden of paying rupees 15 lakhs annually to the Durrani of Afghanistan as tribute. Decline of economy and absence of political stability was followed by pessimism and frustration and loss of self-confidence among Muslims. They began to lean heavily on peers, murshids, indulge in the use of drug, and take either nomadic life or stock breeding at best some sort of cultivation. Finally, Balochi tribes formed the land and aristocracy, and Hindus dominated the trade. To this day, we find the similar pattern being carried out. Sindh hasn't revived from its past and has been following the suit that had been established by the Afghanis. Please don't forget to like our video and subscribe our channel for more content.